Okay, the hour having arrived, we have a quorum. So I'm going to open up the meeting. Going to welcome everybody to the Town of Wakefield Board of Appeals meeting for Wednesday, August 13th. Remind everyone that the meeting is being recorded. The recording will be available on the town's website within the next couple of days. We're going to start by taking roll call of members. Chip Tarbell.
Here.
Dave Hatfield.
Here.
Joe Pride.
Here.
Assuming Humphreys.
Yeah.
And my name's Tom Lucy. Obviously, I am here. I do not see, I'll make a note for the record that both Kirsten Brown and Greg Demersion were unable to attend. We have another alternate member, Mit Patel. I do not see him online at this time. If he joins, we'll make that note. With that, I'm going to ask the clerk, Joe Pride, to read the legal notice for the meeting.
Sure thing, Mr. Chair. Consistent with the governor's orders extending certain provisions of the open meeting law, every effort will be made to allow the public to view and or listen to this meeting in real time. If you do not have a camera or microphone on your computer, you may use the following dial-in number 1-301-715-8592, meeting ID 825-1942, 5193, passcode 106256. Please only use dial-in or computer and not both, as audio feedback will distort this meeting. This meeting will be audio and video recorded in compliance with the Americans with Disability Act. This location is accessible to people with disabilities. Wakefield provides reasonable accommodations and or language assistance free of charge upon request. If you are a person with a disability and require information or materials in an alternate format, or if you require any other accommodation, please contact the town's disability coordinator, Bill Renault, town engineer, at 781-246-6308 as far in advance as the event as possible. Every effort will be made to grant your request. Advance notification will enable the town to make reasonable arrangements to remove an accessibility barrier for you. 1. Continued hearings. 2. 25-3, Jeffrey Campbell, application for determination and or finding with respects to a continuation and extension of non-conforming structures and uses under Article 9, Section 190-50B of the Wakefield zoning bylaw related to removing the current shed and replace it with a new shed of approximately same dimensions. The property is shown as map 07-171, lot parcel 072 of the assessors map, and is located at 28 Morrison Ave, 326-6. Bipu Shredder and Barsha Shredder, I apologize if I screwed that name up, application for relief from limitations set forth in the Wakefield zoning bylaws related to the construction of an accessory dwelling unit with the existing single-family dwelling and site plan approval is requested pursuant to Article 90, Section 22A1F as amended. This property is shown as map 93, lot parcels 0T9 of the assessors map, and is located at 51 Whittier Road. Board of Appeals.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. As is our custom, we have a couple requests for continuance. I'll read those into the record so folks that are here for those matters don't need to hang on anymore. First up is case 2511, Michael P. Constantino, 35 Stark Ave. I have a letter dated today from Attorney Brian McGrail. It reads, please continue this matter to 9/24/25, your 9/24/25 meeting. After meeting with the building inspector last week, I anticipate to withdraw my client's appeal at that time. We also agree to extend the time for the board to render and or file any decisions regarding this matter until and including November 30th, 2025.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the applicant's request to continue this matter at 35 Stark Ave to our meeting on September 24th, 2025, and their request to extend the time for the board to render a decision and until November 30th, 2025.
Seconded.
We have a motion made and it has been seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none, regular voting members that are here. Dave,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Chip? Chip, you're on mute.
Why don't you take me off? Yes.
Kasumi?
Yes.
I vote yes. That's unanimous. Matters continued to September 24th. Next, letter, dated today from Attorney Brian McGrail regarding case numbers 2521 and 2522 at 154 and 158 Salem Street. Please continue this matter to meeting on September 10th, 2025, and that we are still working on revising the plans and drainage report for the submittal.
Mr. Chair, I move that we continue the matter at 154 to 158 Salem Street to our September 10th, 2025 meeting.
Seconded.
Motion's been made, seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none. Same voting members. Dave,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Chip,
Yes.
Kasumi?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. That is unanimous. That matter is continued to September 10th. Going to ask the board for chair's prerogative so we can pull one of the other matters up, one of the matters from other matters on the agenda up to the front as we have a couple of guests. This refers to the recodification update from bylaw review chair. I see Dan Lieber and Attorney Bobrovsky on the line. Are members okay with that?
Well, considering that we pay Attorney Bobrovsky by the hour, yes.
Yes.
That's fine, Mr. Chair.
Despite his objections, we will move it up. Mr. Lieber, floor is yours for you, Mr. Bobrovsky.
Thank you very, very kindly, Chair Lucy, much appreciated. And also want to acknowledge that member Eric Reed is also here with us. So it's a privilege to be in another joint meeting with the ZBA. This is just likely a quick update. Attorney Bobrovsky can get into any details and questions that you may have as he is back from his wonderful safari. And we are moving forward with the planned recodification to have it ready for the November town meeting. There are a variety of different updates that have been incorporated, including the feedback from the ZBA itself, along with planning board, other members of the public. We try to be as open in receiving from anyone who wants to contribute to this process. And there have been even some additional updates that have happened in the last few days, and those will go in as discussion matters going forward as a recodification, some possible updates to the design review board. The idea behind the recodification and draft 9 is currently available on the website, including the new website for the town under bylaw review committee, is to take the existing zoning bylaws, which your board does a marvelous job of trying to decipher, understand, interpret, and figure out, along with applicants and other people within our town, and have found it to be, to put it politely, confusing and confounding and, well, out of date in some cases. And to take it, update that, and make it so that it's in an organized manner, all the definitions are together, the different components are together, without trying to change the overall flavor of the town. No maps have been updated. No existing zones that have been defined and are in use are being touched. So the idea is really to get rid of things that are obsolete and make other updates. Attorney Bobrovsky, if you want to get into any more detail than that and explain the process and what will happen going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, members of the Board of Appeals. It's my pleasure to be with you this evening. I want to first thank you for the memo that I got from you the last time I saw you, which was several months ago. This is dated January 13th of this year, and it contained 2.5 pages of a to-do list, which I used in creating draft 9. So I think there's only one change I didn't make, and that was to section 5.1.1. A member pointed out that the state law has now changed this from 12 months to 36 months. But there is a change to 36 months, but it has to do with the lapse of special permits. So that's in a different section. And I did make the change in the appropriate location. There's a couple of things that we're still waiting to put in. I have created separate files for the ADU. I've created a separate file for the floodplain overlay district. They're just waiting for the AG's approval, and I'll paste them into the current draft 9. The definitions from those two sections are already in section 11. And then at a meeting last night with the planning board informed me that in conference with the Zoning Board of Appeals, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a decision to keep the sign overlay district as is and wait to make changes until after the upcoming town meeting. There is a sign overlay district at section 9.4 of the current draft. It is as is. I've just reformatted it to fit. And if you take a look at that, I think we're ahead of the game there. I know that there's also been some discussion about the design review committee, and I await instructions from the powers that be there. Other than that, I think it is in a good shape. A draft 10 will probably be necessary, and I look forward to putting that together and getting a copy over to you for your review.
Well, thank you for that update. I don't want to speak for the full board, but I don't think we've had a chance to really, as a board, look at draft number 9. We would want to do that in open session as a board. We have time between now and our next meeting. I'm going to ask board members to be prepared to discuss that. I know you're under some deadlines as you want to get this ready for the fall town meeting. So I'll open it up to the board, but board members, I don't expect any one of us to have read the 9th draft yet. So, weigh in appropriately. But my plan is to, as a board, to give the membership time to review it and then gather as a board to discuss it. And then once again, as a board, pass along if we have any suggestions or further comments to Chair Lieber and to Mr. Bobrowski. So I'll open it up to the board at this point if you have any questions or comments.
So they changed the Zoom tools. I don't see raising hand anymore. But anyway, Mr. Chair, if I may, so thank you for attending tonight, Dan and Mark, Attorney Bobrowski. So just a quick question. Do you have any insight into the timing of the ADU and floodplain being approved by the state?
The Attorney General has 90 days from receipt of the transmittal by the town clerk, but it's often common that they take a longer period of time, which they're free to do on their own nickel. So you really imagine the job, if you will. Every town has to submit every bylaw to the municipal law unit at the AG's office.
Yeah.
And this is a year in which they were mandated changes to ADU, and every town has had to go through the process. So
Yeah.
No guess on my part.
Okay. But the hope is that it would be done in time to fold it in to a draft 10 or whatever before the November meeting.
It's ready to go. I'll
Yeah.
make a phone call over to Kelly Gunnigan, who's the new chief of the unit, and I'll ask her where it sits on their pile and just alert her that we have a fall town meeting coming up.
All right, thank you. And then, so what is our deadline as a board to to get feedback? Like if we discuss this at a September meeting and there's still some open questions, or we see a draft 10 by then, or after that, when's the deadline? Because it has to get on the town charter, right, for the November meeting. So what's our sort of time frame for finalizing any feedback in your mind? Or Dan?
Dan, you gave the dates last night, so why don't you answer this one?
So ideally, if we can get initial feedback, especially if it's going to be in written form, if you can get it this month. So to Attorney Bobrowski, based upon what's in the current draft 9, that would be very helpful. You can certainly send that through me or directly to Attorney Bobrowski and copy the bylaw review. That's fine. He will take use his expertise to incorporate those items that are ministerial in nature and then update all of us as appropriate. For things where there are questions, it'll then give time to go before the appropriate boards. To answer the question more directly, the last time the changes can really be submitted, there are two dates. One is at town meeting itself, because floor amendments could be done, although we're trying to avoid that if possible. Otherwise, it would be the closure of the hearing for the planning board. Well, really the opening of the hearing for the planning board, because at that point, whatever is presented at that public hearing is what is presumed to be presented to the town meeting. Changes, again, can be made and can be made in a large way through omnibus type of motions at town meeting. But if we can get things incorporated before, then that would be helpful. As we prepare the actual articles for town meeting, they will be relatively generic in their manner. The anticipated motion will be something such as we replace chapter 190 and list all of the sections with a new section. So with the new 10 or 11 sections that are in the new version of chapter 190. So that way people will know that in fact the entirety of the bylaw is being replaced. It will be available online for people who want a printed copy. It'll be available at town hall in printed form. It's obviously very long, just as the current bylaws are very long. There are a lot of different components, and there are some items that, as Attorney Bobrowski said, that are currently in flight and being discussed, such as the makeup of the design review board for the sign overlay district. Wakefield is unique in that we have two different signage bylaws that are very different from one another, in some ways conflict. And we're not looking to change the substance of that through this process. There's a possibility that we will change how the design review board gets constituted in the appointing authorities, et cetera. That's really more ministerial in nature without changing the effects of an entire zone within the town itself. So the sooner we can get things in, the sooner they can be in written form, but we will accept them at any time. Is that a reasonable explanation of the timing? And I don't have
that's helpful.
timing
Yeah,
of it. I don't have the
that's-
timing of when the actual public hearings will be. At this point, we're trying to gain increased awareness to people that there is in fact going to be a recodification proposal, and to get as much feedback as we can.
So Dan, I don't know if you heard Tom or not, but our next meeting isn't until September. So you're not going to get anything in writing this month from us.
Unless it's individual members that wish to contribute.
We'll do it as a group. Because there's no reason for you to get many different messages.
That being said, that being said, you had our major comments. We had our meeting. We pretty thoroughly went over it. And given what Attorney Bobrowski just said about incorporating many of those things, I don't anticipate much, if any, feedback, to tell you the truth. But we'll do our due diligence and get it to you ASAP.
A couple of things, Mr. Chairman. One is that the 8th draft was dated in April, and it really is just an organizational draft in-house at my office, with my office manager going through it to correct any typos and things of that sort. So the 7th draft, which you did review in your memo of January 13th of 2025, you've got a nice shopping list there for yourself to run a check on draft 9. It's all by section, and it should be fairly easy for you to find the changes that I made. And draft 9 hasn't evolved from your memo of mid-January. So
yeah, that's what I
like. For example, you told me take out the performance standards. Gone. That took 30 seconds. So.
Okay.
So my other thought again was around you kind of got into it a little bit with the design review board. So if we're going to hold off on the wholesale replacement or update of the sign overlay district, part of that speaks to a design review board. So are we anticipating that could be tightened up as part of this, and then the sign overlay would come later, or it's all going to be done later, because the design review board is part of the current bylaw, right? And it doesn't exist, right? So do we anticipate that that's going to get cleaned up as before the vote in November?
So Dave, I met with Aaron Kokenda and Jim Hogan, who had a question about that. And they had a question about the design review board. I relayed this board's feeling in the memo that we had a strong feeling that the design review board should exist. And then we talked about potential members for that board. My only dog in that fight was that someone from this board should be on that board. And we talked about a member of this board and either Aaron or the new town planner being on it. So we identified areas that really just made sense for the town manager or the town administrator rather to have some guidance in terms of appointment from the board.
Okay.
And as it relates to that issue in particular, the sign overlay district, there's two parts to it. So most of it is in chapter 9. That part is not changed other than the numbering. But the constituting of the design review board itself, so the appointment authority, is actually separate, and that's in chapter 10. And the comments that we did receive will be discussed separately by the bylaw review, because we did receive those comments from the chairs of the planning board and ZBA for possible inclusion in the actual recodification. And the reason behind that is the importance of having a design review board, even with the current language, which probably does need to be updated, but even with current language, to have a design review board in existence is very important. The current way that it has been appointed and constituted has been ineffective. And knowing that because of the ineffectiveness of having a design review board, so it has not actually existed with members appointed for several years, the idea is that we can at least fix that piece so that the design review board can exist and not be an inhibitor in and of itself. So that piece we're looking at possibly changing. It will need a little bit more guidance, and that'll probably be a discussion with Attorney Bobrowski and Attorney Mullen to see if that is necessary to be included in the recodification, or if that can be handled as an administrative matter by the town council itself in the current language. We haven't gotten into the depth of that, but that's an open question that I anticipate will be asked at the next bylaw review committee meeting when we meet of substance together. We don't have a quorum here, so.
Just for your information, the design review board is currently in draft 9 as section 10.10.
We'll have a look. Yeah, we'll see when we have an opportunity to look at it.
But
So,
great, I do want to highlight, it's a great question, and the reason why that's of significance is because it's inhibiting projects, it's inhibiting changes in the town that would be genuinely helpful. So the idea is, let's remove a relatively easy inhibitor and then have a different group go through to do a more substantive update and replacement of the standards and other elements of the signage overlay district and or sign bylaw review, the sign review itself.
okay.
And if anyone else from the public has feedback, by all means, we are absolutely open to feedback at all times. It can come in writing, can come at a meeting. We're open to it however we can get it.
Yep.
We're trying to make this as inclusive as possible.
And folks, you can go by Dan's house as well. They'll be happy to welcome you.
Absolutely.
All right, seeing no other comments, just thank you to Mr. Lieber, Attorney Bobrowski and Eric for taking time out of their an August summer night to join us and for all their efforts. And also to point out our member, Joe Pride, for all the work that you've done on the committee as well. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, going back to the regular agenda, next up under continued hearings is case 26-1, 26-2, 26-3. Pack Self-Storage of Wakefield LLC, 50 Corner Poward Avenue. I believe I see Attorney McGrail on the line.
Thank you.
Well, on the Zoom anyway.
I'm on the Zoom. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. For the record, once again, Attorney Brian McGrail representing the applicant, Pack Self-Storage of Wakefield LLC. I will tell you, I was confused. So people, everyone that's participating, I figured it out. If you want to raise your hand to be recognized, you've got to click the react button, and then that gives you the raise hand button for public participation. I want to make introductions of our group that is here with me tonight. Once again, Chris Capizzoli and Chris Capizzoli Jr., representatives of Pack Self-Storage of Wakefield LLC. Also, Christine Walsh is our architect, and she will be doing the majority of the presentation tonight because of the subject matter, which I'll get into. Also, we have Carla Moynihan is here from Sheridan Lodgton. She is legal counsel to the owner of the property, related Beal entities, and Dan Gunther is also here from Sheridan Lodgton. John Ogren was not able to make it tonight, and I thought it was a good night for him not to make it because it's really not a subject matter, a discussion for him. Anyways, he might log on later if he's available, but he had a conflict. So my understanding, Mr. Chair, based on the last meeting, that the subject matter tonight is going to be context in massing and architecture.
That's correct. And before you get into it, just for our own purposes, as we look at members and their attendance, alternate member Mit Patel has joined, so he is with us for this portion of the hearing. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you, Chair.
Please proceed, Mr. McGrail. Floor is yours.
Thank you. So what we've done, and if I can share my screen, I think the board wanted to get an idea of the context and massing of this project compared to, what else is in the immediate vicinity and how it relates to that on the 128 corridor and on the North Ave corridor. So what we did is Hayes Engineering put together a plan in conjunction with Christine Walsh, but it was mainly done through Hayes. And if I could share my screen.
Please do.
So I'll blow this up a little bit as we get into it, but this just gives a general idea of the whole site to familiarize the board and the participants on the Zoom. Where my cursor is, this is 50 Corner Poward Parkway, which is the subject matter site, and the proposed self-storage facility is superimposed there. Next door is the office park or the office building, parking lots and parking garage for 100 Corner Poward Parkway. And then next to that is the ongoing development at 200-400 Corner Poward Parkway. Obviously, all abutted by Route 128 as a direct abutter. And then on the other side of Corner Poward Parkway, you can kind of just see the edge of the building, but we've taken a photo of it. This is my office park where I'm situated, which is 599, 607, that, the Lakeside Office Park, which the board is familiar with. So as you know, we're proposing that our building is going to be 50 feet tall. So this depicts that. As it relates to the neighboring property, Hayes Engineering went out and did some shots of that building and determined that the building is approximately 53 feet height. In height, I would say it's 50. He was only able to do one shot. And so I would just say 50. The one shot he did is 53, but you got to deal with average, etc. So it's about 50 feet height. And then the parking garage in the back is 46 feet high, again, approximately because of how he was able to do the shot. And then the buildings at 200, 400 are proposed to be 50 feet high. So there's really a consistency as you go down this area, all the Corner Poward Parkway properties. On the other side of the street, where my office park is, this building has been here forever, 24 feet tall. And I think you're familiar with that if you walk the lake and go by it. So I think hopefully this gives an idea. This is usually what the board wants to see, just to have an idea that how everything works together as far as size. I also was able to pull some records at Town Hall relating to the construction of 100 Quantipow Parkway. And what I could deem from those records, just some comparisons as it relates to our neighbors in what we're doing. So the FAR that is proposed on our site, the floor area ratio is 0.60. The floor area ratio on the neighboring property is 0.53, somewhat consistent. The open area on our property, which is one of the most enticing aspects of this whole thing to the town of Wakefield as a whole, is the open area is 83% on our property. On the neighboring property at 100, it is 54%, according to the records I was able to get from the town. And the building coverage is, again, minuscule. On our site, it's 12% our building coverage will be. And on the neighboring property at 100, the building coverage, including the garage, was shown to be 26%. So, pretty much, we obviously have more open space for obvious reasons. That's one of the benefits of this project, but somewhat consistency and symmetry as you look down. So with that said, if I may, Mr. Chair, I want to hand it over to Christine Walsh to go through the architectural plans and designs of our building. As was discussed at our initial meeting, Christine was tasked with designing a building that, in essence, if people go by, they would have no idea what it is. It was really just designed to fit nicely and blend in and work well with the area, not shout out as a self-storage facility like some buildings do in that type of business. And quite honestly, I think when you walk by this or look at it, you wouldn't even know what the use is, and it could be varying uses, many different uses. When you look at that building, you would only be able to guess what's going on inside. So with that said, Mr. Chair, may I stop sharing my screen and hand it over to Christine to go through those aspects?
Yeah, please do.
Hi, everybody. I'm Christine Welsh from Menino Incorporated. As Brian said, I was tasked in creating a 5-story building for self-storage that was not supposed to look like self-storage. So we have designed something that I think is very fitting and is appropriate for the neighborhood. It's not your stereotypical metal box. If anything, it looks more office or library or community building type facility. If you bear with me, I will be sharing some drawings as well. Are you able to see a set of drawings?
Not yet. You got to
Not
open
yet, we're just seeing your inbox.
Christine, I think you should stop sharing and open what you want to show, and then share again.
Okay, because I can see it on my screen. I just have to
Yeah, you
figure
got to
out
stop sharing. Just stop sharing. Hit go to the share button and stop sharing.
Okay, stop share.
Yeah, now try to share again and see if you see on your screen what you want to show.
And share your whole screen and maybe not a certain window, because that way, if you're switching
And
between.
now, did you click on the share button again?
Oops. I think I just closed it. Yikes.
All right, take your time. If not, I can help. I can load. I'm all teed up to load up your plans if you need help. No offense, I figured this might happen.
Well, every computer I'm on is a little different. What I'm not seeing, and I had it and I just lost it, is my Explorer.
Do you want the, your architectural submittals, Christine?
Yeah, I'd like to show the ground floor plan at this point, if
Okay,
you don't mind.
let me see if I can.
Sorry about that.
No worries. There we go.
I basically just want to show that we started with a footprint.
There you go, hold on,
Um,
it's coming up.
with the designated square footage that we wanted to set back off the street, which you've seen many times already, I'm sure. But we couldn't impede on the wetlands, so
This what you want, Christine? What sheet do you want to go to?
yep, I just want to go to the ground floor plan.
Tell me when.
All right there.
Okay.
You can make it a full screen or something.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
That work?
I basically just want to get into, you can see if you look at the perimeter of the building, there's lots of jogs and little niches and ins and outs. We tried to keep the ground floor as compact as possible to relieve the setbacks based upon the wetlands, but to still maximize our footprint, as needed. In doing this, we also created some areas for some more landscaping, which also helps the building look really nice, and it blends into our, we've already discussed the front area, the little park area that's being created, for the many neighbors that love to walk the neighborhood. If you notice to the left side of the plan, midway back, I can't use my cursor. We also kept all of the loading areas toward the back and on the side, so that when you're driving by on the main, Quantico Parkway, you don't see people loading. It's all done internally and discreetly. The most you'd see is, cars and trucks coming in or out occasionally. So that kind of reduced that view of people with like garage doors open and stuff that you assume would be happening at a self-storage facility. We don't have any of that. It's all concealed. Also with these ins and outs and little jogs, it just created a texture, which I can show in a minute on the exterior elevation. It's just not a flat box. And you'll notice that we have some overhangs, we have different windows. Brian, if you can scroll down to one of the elevations, maybe one of the colored ones.
Yep. Keep going. That's what you want?
Yeah, this is one more. Yeah, right there. That's fine. You can see, well, it's hard to tell on a flat elevation, but I'll show you again on the renderings after. A lot of the different materials and colors represent those little bumps and grooves. So we don't have a flat box. Like the arched area in the upper right-hand elevation, that projects just a little bit, just to give it some definition. The tower in the corner on the left side creates definition of where the office and the entry is, and to also break up some of the massing of a box type building, if you will. And it just makes it a little more welcoming, if you will. And then we have, the different materials, which I'll get into in a minute as well. The different colors and textures, they're all cohesive, but they also help define, like we have a base at the bottom where the entry is. And then, you have your mid layers, and then you have your cap at the top with the tower. And it just kind of makes the building, rise up and be part of the area and the community, if that makes sense. We also reduced the floor to floor height, which we probably don't need to get into, but to maintain our height on the site because of the average grade plane. And we have added, Brian, please scroll to the next elevations. We have added some extra windows, which a lot of self-storage facilities don't always have windows, for some transparency, and to let natural light in as well in the areas that they are, like on corridors or in spaces that would like natural light. All right, this one doesn't show it. Can we go down to the new roof plan? That won't be, actually, while we're in this package,
I
let's just
can
go
do
over the
that.
materials. Yeah.
You want to keep going on this, Christine?
Yeah, while we're in this package. So, all right, so the next two images basically show the materials that we're looking at. As you can see, they're all natural, neutral type colors to blend in with the greenery, and because we are keeping a lot of the wetlands and some of the greenery, we just want to blend in. And they're still modern enough. We're using the bronze metals. We have masonry in different shades of browns and beiges. There is like a clapboard for large areas, large expansive areas. We have ephes that typically shows verticality, where we either have like a post or a column type element or an arch type element. Again, I said lots of windows. Again, trying to be as transparent as possible. Some of these will be lit at night. It just makes it look a little nicer. We have the light fixtures, also bronze. Most of these are on the building are cylinder lights that shine up and down. It's just a soft, elegant lighting that it wraps all around the building. We have it on all sides, which again, working with the site lighting, which most likely will have like cutoff features so that we're not spilling into neighboring properties, of course. What else can I say on these? We also have some vertical boards. We have at the tower, we have this nice like wood plank, which is much more warm and inviting, at the entry area, as opposed to some typical like vertical siding or clapboard siding. If you scroll down to the next one, I think the materials are similar. It's a little lighter on the side and the back, because we don't have the, the materials that are on the tower. But these are the same. We have clapboard look, vertical board look. We have the masonry again at the base. It's an anchoring base. And then the ephes keeps it light and also shows the verticality. The simplicity shows the floor lines. Again, any of the metal would be the bronze, would get the lighting, roof cap, the flashing at the top defines the roof. So it's just, it doesn't scream out self-storage. It's more of, like I said, like a community or some sort of an office type space,
Okay, Chip, you want to ask a question now or you want to wait till the end? You're on mute, Chip.
Seems to be a theme tonight. Just, as she goes on, a couple comments. So she said lighting was up and down. I don't think
Yes.
any up lighting is going to be dark sky compliant, and all the lights should be dark sky compliant on the building. That was number one. And number two, I think you said go to a roof plan, but I think we skipped over and didn't see that. Or if we did.
Not yet, no.
Okay.
We'll go back.
My fault.
The I don't want to interrupt, but the up-down lighting, those up lights are just decorative lights. They don't go high,
Just need
depends.
to check and make sure they're dark sky compliant.
Absolutely. Yep.
I'll be pleasantly surprised if they are.
But we can also choose, the types of bulbs.
Just a hot button in town these days,
Okay.
especially where you're going to be near the Conservation Commission and conservation.
Okay. I'll double check that.
Yep.
All right, so if you don't mind, Brian, can you please go to the, we can peek at the renderings and then we can go to the roof plan. So this is the view if you're coming down Corner Power Parkway, as if you just got off the highway, if you will, heading toward where those new apartments are being built. The lake's on your right. And this would be a view of the front entry it's not really a circle, but you would go in on the easement and then come out on our property. But so that's the corner tower. The entrance is to your right at the corner, and all of the loading happens behind that, which is also tucked back. It's not flush with the tower. It's pushed back a little bit. So this view, we want to show it so that you can see it. But in reality, when you're going by, it's going to appear tucked behind. You can see all the wood grain materials at the corner, and then again, masonry at the bottom. Vertical elements are mostly ephes. We have the clapboard and the vertical siding as you go up toward the top. So we can go to the next one if there are no questions. Again, this shows some of the niches, the ins and outs, the jogs, the projections, so that it's not just a box. And obviously it creates some spots for some landscaping. We've got some trees in there. And there's an egress stair off to the far right in the back. Again, discreet, but required. It's the same color palette all the way around from this view. You have the light beiges and soft green, like a sage green. We can move on to the other one. This is a good view that shows some of the massing. You can see it in relationship to the other buildings that are adjacent and the highway. Those dark rectangles are supposed to be representative of to be solar ready. And that elevator penthouse in the center. We will be adding, I can show you on the new roof plan, the fire department required walkout access to the roof. So we carried one of the stairwells all the way up, which is pretty standard and not a problem. It does not show on this view, but I'll show you on the roof plan, as well as some proposed condenser locations, which won't be visible from grade for anybody standing down below. And the other renderings are pretty much views from the on-ramp from the highway. You get a glimpse. Most likely there'll be signage at some point.
Christine, you
So
want me to
you'll know
go
when
to
it
your,
actually is.
want me to go to your roof plan?
Yes, please.
Okay, hang on.
Right there is perfect. So we revised the roof plan since the original package. And what we did is, as you can see the solar array in the light gray rectangles, the dark gray diamonds, that just represents some roof insulation, where there's crickets and whatnot. You'll never see that. It'll be covered with the roof membrane. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 proposed locations for condenser units. The whole HVAC system hasn't been fully worked out yet. We're very schematic at the moment, but based upon other facilities we've done, it's pretty fair that these are most likely where some of these will be located. They're all inboard or screened and will not be visible. They only come up off the roof like 3, maybe 4 feet. So where they are, you won't see them.
So are they screened for noise too?
They can be. Usually they're not very loud. The condensers are pretty small.
Having the great fortune of living next to 128, I don't think you're gonna hear them.
True.
That's a fair point. Chip?
Yeah, I think the comment of you won't see them is often a little miscued. I don't care about seeing them from the ground because you won't. I want to know what you're going to see from 128 driving by. And my bet is because of the raised elevation of the road, you're going to see everything on this roof. The other thing I don't see is I don't see from a stairwell elevation in one corner as well as an elevation for the elevator. Why can't you do both together? Why can't, I've seen places that have done elevator pits with the stairwell right behind it. So that's one construction of a shaft all the way up through. And
We
then
have done that as well.
then why wouldn't we do it here?
We could add an additional stair, but we need to keep the stairs a certain distance away from each other. And I think if we keep the one up front that we usually have over by the office and then put one in the center of the building with the elevators, we'd still have to have something in the back area just for
Well, then move
distance.
the elevator. I don't want to see too many I mean, you've already got the tower. I think you've got to be creative. You got to check those dimensions because A, you don't have the height here. B, that's going to be absolutely seen from the highway or from the neighbors. So I think there needs to be one elevator / stairwell structure that goes up to the roof.
We can look into that. Another option is pulling the other stairwell up over by the office area and hiding that within the tower as well. But something that,
Somewhere, somehow. Yeah.
yeah, so we're still looking into that. But because it was a fire department requirement, it's shown for now here.
Right.
But
And
I like
would
your
take-
suggestion.
I would take
and
note
I
to
will,
Tom's note as well that the screening should not only be visual, but also sound, just to make sure noise does travel. And I know you're
Absolutely.
close to 128, but
All right, I have noted that as well. We will look into that.
and when you say solar ready, are these solar panels going to go on immediately?
Ultimately, that's up to the owner.
Yeah, I can address that. That is the goal, but the world has changed on availability, tax credits, feasibility. As you know, it's not what it was 3 years ago. So the goal is to do solar, and that's why it's at least going to be solar ready. But there's new standards now that we're going to have to look into on availability and tax credits that used to be available that aren't, and costs associated. But it will at least be solar ready, if not solar operational.
So Brian, to that end, we need, if it is going to be solar ready and it's something you're contemplating, a year or two down the road, whatever, unless you're going to make it a condition to come back to us when you have a design and a plan, we need to know what you're putting up there or planning to put up there.
Yeah.
Just a grayed out spot doesn't cut it.
Understood.
Okay, Chip, is that it for now?
If you want to, Brian, if you wouldn't mind showing what we've started with the walkout access for the roof.
So I
I wanted
have
to-
a couple more board members with questions.
Yeah, I wanted to stay on the roof if we could.
Oh,
I
sorry.
wanted to
Hold on,
piggyback on what Chip
Yep.
had.
Let me bring it back up. Hold on.
I may have missed it. Maybe it went by too quickly, but the need for the stairwells up to the roof is per the fire department?
Yeah, they want,
Yes.
they don't want to have to open a hatch with a ladder to get on the roof.
Okay, and how
Right.
many do they need? Is it like based on
One.
the square
One.
footage of that roof, they need so many?
Just one.
And it's being shown in that far corner opposite the office tower.
Opposite the tower, yes. For now.
Okay. I didn't know if you had talked about like, well, we'll add another one maybe by the elevators or so, but if we just need one, then I would piggyback on Chip's comment and say, let's try to simplify and maybe work it into that same tower.
Yes.
It's in the middle of the building, access to everything, equidistant to everything on the roof. What are the dark gray things again? Crickets? Sorry, what did you say?
It's just, yes, it's raised portions of some of the insulation that create areas to slope the roof for drainage. It's just something that we always show. I kind of jumped ahead and started looking at that. You won't see it. If you look down on the roof, you'd never see it. It's underneath the membrane. It's just kind of like a little, be flat roof to most people.
Oh, okay. I thought these were physically something on the roof next to these solar arrays potentially. I
No.
was trying to understand what they
No.
were. Okay.
No,
All right. To the layman, I wasn't quite sure what a cricket was in this context. Okay.
it's just
And
basically a slope for drainage is all it
got,
is, the pitches.
got it.
It's like 2 inches probably. They're not much. It's like an inch or two.
Okay. I just wanted clarity. Appreciate it. And maybe it's not on the roof plan, but I've heard height mentioned a few times and this thing being 50 feet, but doesn't that office tower extend beyond 50 feet?
It does.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah,
feet?
the
Do we have
tower
a
does go
rendering?
up.
Do we have a rendering somewhere that shows how high that goes to the top of that tower?
Yep, that front corner rendering, or any of the renderings actually.
I may
The
have missed
peak,
it. Yeah.
that's okay. The very peak of the tower is approximately 15 feet taller than the regular roof deck itself. But that doesn't get counted in the overall height calculations.
Okay. I see roof deck. I see grade. It looks like it's about 50, give or take. But I didn't see somewhere where it was 15 feet for that structure. If it's on the drawing, I missed it. I was looking at the elevations where the measurements were given between
Okay.
the floors and all that and the grades.
Okay, it should be on there. Brian, would you
Okay.
mind pulling up one of the new elevations,
Nope.
please?
Which one do you want? What number?
Something that shows the tower, I think A11, sheet
Sure.
A11.
1-1? Okay. 2-1 or 2-2, does it matter?
Oh, sorry, 2-1.
Okay, because the copies you sent us dated August 8th. That's the one I'm looking at on my computer.
Hold on.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
That should be the same one he pulls up.
It's okay, Christine?
Yeah, so if you go to the front elevation in the tower, the roof deck is noted. We don't have the dimension from the roof deck to the very, the center peak, if you will, of that, of the tower, but that's approximately 15 feet.
well, that's what I was asking for. That
Yeah.
height.
Right at that middle, at the high point.
Yeah.
And then obviously it slopes down to
Okay, so
approximately about 4.5 feet from the deck. So
can we add that to the elevation, please? So it's very clear that that's going 15 feet above the roof deck.
sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
And while we're here, if you scoot all the way to the right, that will be the approximate height of the roof access, no matter where we locate it. That's about as tall as it's gonna have to be for the firemen to get up and out. So whether it's in that corner or in the center, you can see the penthouse of the elevator in the center now. Or if we tuck it somehow, which I'd like to do in the tower, that's gonna be the height they're gonna need to get in and out.
That's fine. It just can't go in that corner because as you notice from this elevation, it ruins your whole aesthetic of that side of the building.
I prefer it without as well. So I have it there because we need it. I am still actively willing to relocate it once we, get really into detailing the interior design.
Yeah, you also have an abutter that's concerned about the height, so maybe not having it at the corner
Mhm.
closest to the abutter who's concerned about height. I think you should explore that.
Absolutely.
That's all I have, Mr.
Kasum?
Chair. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Dave.
Mhm.
Kasumi, I see your hand up.
Thank you. So I see the floor to floor is 9.6. Have you already worked on like all the MEP systems inside of the building? Because I think the storage unit is usually like you get 8 to 9 feet high ceilings inside of the cubicle itself. And I don't think you can get those with the 9.6 floor to floor. The floor slab must be thick with all the weight of the storage, no?
It can be done, but you're right, it's very tight. It depends upon the systems that they end up choosing. And the storage units themselves will most likely have to be at 8 feet. Again, that's something that we're currently working out on the interior. it can be done. We have in the past. It's tight and everybody has to work together.
Okay. Yeah, because if you have something really like a large item to store, you have to store in a horizontal way rather than like a vertical way. I don't know how that works. And then the access door to the unit itself will be like 7, 6, or 8.
We could be 8, we could be 7, 6. It depends what he chooses for a system.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, 8's not uncommon.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure at least you get like the minimum, like a typical height inside of the unit itself.
Yeah, I mean, the lowest would be 7 feet, like an elevator. We're probably gonna bump up the door heights of the elevator too, as long as we can. But yeah, it'll be tight.
Okay.
It's doable though.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else in your presentation for tonight?
I think that about covers it for me. Yeah, I'll double check, about what actually is shown on the roof, if you're not at grade. We can maybe, add some things to that one rendering that shows the roof. Maybe it might help,
And we've got your comments and the board's comments, Mr. Chair.
And Mr. Chair, all I'd like to do is come back to this at some point, because although we kind of blew through all of the exteriors, there's a lot happening on the exterior of this building. And although I like it, but the difference between ephes and the vertical and the horizontal and this color and that color, and the stone, there's a lot happening. So once we get the final plan with the roof and everything else, I'd just like to revisit the colors one more time with a go through of how they all blend together, and maybe after we even get them at the building department.
I agree. My one comment from this is, I hear Dave's comment on the height of the tower. I like the tower. I like the efforts that's been put into the design to not make it look like a self-storage facility. And I know there's been a lot of effort to break down the massing vertically and horizontally with different strategies, but it is a tad busy, is one of my takeaways. And to your point, Chip, that we got to get that right. So, I'm sorry, Joe, I didn't see your hand up, and I see it up.
No, that's all right. Quick question. So how many total storage units does this carry right now?
Let's see, we have 115, 51.
I think the plans had 115, if I read it correctly.
Well, that's on the first floor. It varies.
Oh, just on the first
if you give
floor.
me-
Sorry, I was looking at just the one floor. Okay.
So I guess while you're looking at that, I don't know if anyone knows this other question I may have is the other storage unit on the other side of Wakefield. Do we know how many storage units that would have?
In the one that abuts 128.
No, the one that's in Shaw's, next to Shaw's.
On Water Street,
Yes.
across from Narcella.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We have that one, and then we also have one over on Outer Baton Road.
Yeah, the one on Water Street, I think is 110,000 square feet, so it's fairly compatible.
We're just over 115,000 square feet, and it looks like we have about 800 to 802 units, depends where we end
Yeah.
up.
On the other side of town is 110,000 square feet.
Did you come up with that number somehow on like demand? Or I guess what I'm getting at is if we did take a floor off, how many storage units would you lose? 100?
More like 150, 170.
I'm just spitballing here. If you had to take a floor off, because I know people are concerned about height, you would lose
Between 170 and 180, I would say, on the upper floors.
170. And the total, I forget now again, was 400.
two.
500, yes, so 10.
I guess, Joe, I was concerned about height too initially. However, if you look at it in comparison to all the other buildings right along that corridor, it's equal.
It's compatible, and
Okay,
I like that tower
So
because
I
the
kind of
building,
actually like that it's pretty much compatible.
it's compatible, it's set back, and I do like the tower because it looks like you're matching the tower next door, right? Is that how
Right.
you kind of came up with that?
Similar.
Yeah.
Similar, yeah.
Joe, I agree with Chip. It seems like the median line of height is 50 feet right across the board there. So having
I
seen
think
that,
if, yeah, I do think if you, yeah, go ahead. If you did squish it, if you did take a floor off, it would almost, with all that detail, it would almost look squashed in a way too. But
Right.
Can you take the floor out but make the per floor a little bit higher? So like top of the tower is gonna be coming back to plus minus 50.
yeah, to your point, you could, instead of trying to squish all that into 8 feet, 9 foot, you could
Yeah,
take a floor off
I
and then get 12 foot floors or 11 foot floors, get back to that height, and
I
it
think
would
nine
stretch the
six
building.
is yeah, 9.6 is really tight.
But to me, that's not our call.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah,
like to
yeah,
look at total height. I like to look at total look, how it fits in with everything. I don't care if they go 4-foot floors.
You would if you were renting.
Yeah, I wouldn't rent it. You know, they're gonna do what they need to do to fill that sucker. You know, so I don't, like most things, I don't really care about the interior. I really care about the
Yeah.
exterior.
yeah,
I just wanted to bring out, that was all, just
All a good thought.
yeah. All right. Any other comments? Brian, is that the end of your presentation for this evening?
That's the subject matter. So yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Any other
Thank you.
comments, any other comments, board members, before I open it up to the public?
Yeah, I would just reiterate again, we've got a month to the next meeting, so if the team can take some of these comments, maybe make some updates, send us updates prior to the next meeting, I think we'll have an opportunity to kind of go through some of the details and
Sure.
and really review this again at the next meeting. I think it'll be helpful before we move on to other things. I think we got 4 weeks, so that should be enough time to. So it'd be great if we could do that, Mr. Chair and Brian and team.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's a fair point, Dave. So with that, I am going to open it up to public comment. As I do so, I know members of the board, we got a couple of pieces of correspondence, one from the attorney for the abutting property owner, and one of the tenants for the abutting property as well. The letter from the attorney from the abutting property did raise some points relative to the criteria for the special permit, but given where we are, I mean, we're just at the beginning of this thing. So I don't think it's appropriate to go through that now. We don't even know what we'll be looking at the end. So, but I just wanted to make that point on the public record. So with that, if there are people here that would like to testify or offer comments or questions relative to what they heard tonight, I'm really gonna try to limit you. It's our board's practice. What we heard about tonight is architecture and massing. We're gonna go through each component portion of the project at subsequent meetings. If you can restrict your comments to what was presented tonight, that would be really appreciated. We want to be efficient. We want to respect everybody's time here. So with that, I'll open it up. And the first hand I see up is Scott Kelly. Scott, if you can give us your name, address, or your affiliation, that would be appreciated.
Sure, Scott Kelly. We are with the ownership group next door, 100 Corner Pallet, owner LLC and RJ Kelly Company. Our business address is 55 Cambridge Street in Burlington. Can you hear me?
I can,
Yep.
but can you see yourself in your screen?
No.
Okay, you have ears coming out of
Oh,
your
I'm sorry. That's
Sorry, I just was laughing. Not,
Yeah,
and I know you don't
Please
present
shift.
laughing stuff, so
I don't look like an animal. All right.
much better.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I had to say something.
Okay. Well, thank you for the opportunity. We'll do the best we can here to just stick to what was mentioned regarding the massing. There was also one comment regarding how the massing protects the loading. Also with us is our attorney, Nick Shapiro, who did write that letter and send it to you guys. I guess we'll do our best to stay off of those issues, since you said this is the beginning of what you guys are going to be looking at. So on the massing, I'm not going to dispute Attorney McGrail's sizing there on the 50-foot. I think for us, if we look at, and also comments from our tenants, if you look at 200 Quantipowitt next door, there's a considerable distance between us. There's vegetation between us. There's a roadway between us. So the 50-foot is minimized and the impact by it. This building is right adjacent to us. There isn't anything separating, no separate roadway. There's no vegetation, no trees. And it's very close to the building. That's the concern, one of the concerns we have on the massing of the building. My understanding is that the relief being sought here is for setbacks and parking on a variance level. And there was a comment also additionally made by Christine, I believe, that that the loading area, which is, I guess, if you're looking at it from the lake, is to the left-hand side of the building, kind of over where the tower is, and that would kind of block the visibility of our building and witnessing the loading and unloading. But as it relates to the massing, of course, and also the parking, that may be true if you're bringing a smaller vehicle in, but self-storage facilities have large box trucks, large tractor trailers that come to them, and there's not enough room for them to get in there and turn around. There's concern that they'll have to either back in or back out or park on the road if they're a large 53-foot semi. So all of those vehicles, also are required to have, backup alarms. So they're going to be exposed when they do that, and they're going to impede, the ability for people to have the quiet enjoyment of the office building next door. We've got, I think, hundreds of employees in there, of tenants, and it's a concern, and they won't be blocked because of the lack of ability to pull in and out of there. So, I don't want to get too bogged down in the other items that we mentioned. But I think that, it is a 50-foot building. It is in concert with the size of ours, but it's close. And, we have concerns about how they've basically sought to max out the size here. We're talking about 115,000 square foot building, but not taking into consideration that mass to reduce it in order to do what would be necessary in order to make that accessible for moving trucks and trailers that do come to storage facilities regularly. So trying not to get off topic on it, I think at this point, I would, hand over any comments that we could have to in relation to what was said to Nick Shapiro and have him make comment. And then as this moves along, we'll have other comments relating to the project as you guys chop it into sections that you guys like to talk about in your meetings.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else here that would like to make a comment about what was presented at tonight's meeting? If so, please use the raised hand function in Zoom. Okay, now I see it says it's connecting to audio, but I'm guessing you're Nick Shapiro.
I'm Nick Shapiro. Yeah, unfortunately, Murphy's Law, my computer's audio isn't working, so I'm having to use my phone. So I apologize, Chair Lucy.
That's fine. We can hear you fine.
That's great. That's great. So I'm Nick Shapiro. I'm an attorney at Phillips & Angley in Boston, and as Scott indicated, I represent the owners and operators of the property next door at 100 Quantipowitt. And I just, as you indicated, Chair, I'm not going to get into the special permit criteria that we go through in 9 pages of detail in our letter for the reasons you suggested. But I just wanted to underscore that I have not seen, usually in a special permit scenario, there's a decently large geographic district where a certain use is allowed by special permit in that district. And so what, as a special permit granting authority, your purview is, is this proposal suitable? Is this particular site suitable? I just don't want the granular criteria, the special permit provision, trees to be missed for the overall forest of the spot zoning issue. I personally have never seen.
I got to kind of stop you there.
Sure. Okay.
Because we're not here to relitigate what happened at town meeting. The town meeting vote occurred. The Attorney General certified it. It's now part of our zoning code. This isn't the forum to go into whether or not you believe you have a case on spot zoning. So that's why I asked the members of your team last time, all this board is going to look at is that criteria that we use to adjudicate a special permit case. So I got to really stick to that as the chair here. And I'm going to ask you to respect that and respect the fact that this is not the forum to really go down that road. And we're volunteers here. We're here on a summer night to do it when we can't do a thing about it. We have the zoning code as it exists before us. So let's kind of stick to what we heard tonight, massing architecture. What do you got?
Sure, and I totally respect that, and unfortunately, Chair, I wasn't here for the last hearing, so I didn't know you already made comments on it. So the only reason I'm bringing it up is that, technically, I totally get it. You get town meeting, hands down your zoning law to you. It's your job to administer it. But there are edge cases where that law is just invalid and void on its face. And so in the rare instances where that's true, I actually don't think a special permit granting authority is required to give effect to something like that. So that's the only reason I bring it up, is that as a technical legal matter, if it is spot zoning, which I believe it is, then it's just not a valid form of zoning to administer in the first place. And so that's why I brought it up. The only thing, and I'll move on, I respect your exhortation, Chair Lucy. The only thing that Scott didn't bring up that I think is important to the design and siting is the access issues on the 495 side, as well as the side facing our property. As indicated in our letter, there doesn't seem to be any provision for any sort of vehicular access to those areas. And from a, first responders, emergency services perspective, as well as maintenance of those areas, that's a matter of concern. And then, of course, as my client is the abutting property owner on one of these sides that doesn't seem to have direct access, there's an emergency exit there. And as it's pretty close to our shared boundary line. If people start using that, realistically, they're going to go over to our parking lot, and there aren't actual private property rights to do that. So I just wanted to highlight those other, two sort of design issues for the conversation that's going on today. So thank you, Chair Lucy, for according me time to speak.
Yep, we want to hear from the abutters for sure.
I'm sure that Attorney Shapiro misspoke, but we don't abut 495. It's 128. And all the points that he brings up are more site oriented than really massing oriented. And I have a lot of questions on site. We're just not there yet.
And we're going to hear from the first responders, right? Tom, we're going to,
Yes.
they're going to tell us. We're going to want their input as to how they plan to service this building. And if there's concerns from them, then it would factor into the ultimate design and layout of this project potentially. So,
as is practice in this town, that we will hear from our subject matter experts from our town departments. They will have memos that they will provide to us. So we're just not there yet. So we're trying to get through this portion of it, but appreciate the comments. So anybody else? Scott, you kind of don't get to practice.
Sorry. Okay. I don't know the rules. All right. We'll hit it next time.
I don't want to shut you down though. So if you have something relevant that you haven't already said, you're the abutter. I want to give you some leeway.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
and it is related to the massing. So I just forgot to make the point. when when these 3 lots were created, there was an agreement that was made that said that the size of the buildings.
Scott, I gotta stop you there right again. That, what, some supposed agreement that we don't have in front of us. I don't, we're not privy to that. Our town council hasn't said that such a thing exists. He hasn't instructed us to abide by that. So it's really not relevant to what this board's looking at.
Okay,
Right?
could we provide that to you and have a
Absolutely. And
determination?
if you did, please CC the town council, you know?
Absolutely. Sure, we'll do that.
And actually, as a courtesy, you should CC Attorney McGrail. So
Absolutely.
Yes,
everybody
yes.
has it.
yes. There's concerns
So
about any of
all-
that. It's outside this purview, but definitely work it offline with those represent parties, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's where to go with some of this other stuff.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No, again, I'm not trying to shut you down, but I really got to kind of narrow our focus to what we're looking at. So, and that's all. All right. Anybody else? Hearing, seeing none, back to the board, pleasure of the board.
So next time, are we revisiting architecture? I'm going to make a motion to continue, but just so we have a clear.
No, that's what we want to hear from. I want to hear from board members. I think we were pretty clear with a couple of requests to the architect and to Attorney McGrail. You know, that will require some response, but that's probably not a full night's hearing.
Right, so
what
my
are board
point,
members interested in?
from here, we usually go to site, right? We've heard stuff about trucks coming in. I don't really understand how the site's working. So if they can make a presentation on site, as well as address some of the questions that were raised tonight by the abutters, like access and can a truck get in and stuff that I haven't looked at. I think that's important because that, as much as we can, do a little bit on architecture and roof design between Conservation Commission, positioning of the building, site, that's going to be a lot of conversation and discussion, and that's going to affect massing potentially. So I think we need to go there before we finalize the design of the building.
Can I
I-
add one request if they can do a shadow study?
Sure. That's pretty standard, Kasumi. I think they heard that before too, so I don't know if they just didn't get a chance to do it, but
Okay.
shadow study would be helpful. Also, Attorney McGrail, you represented the self-storage unit down on Water Street. I'm up and down Water Street more than I'd like to be. I've never seen a semi or a large truck. I'm curious about what that experience is and if that is, if this type of self-storage facility with 400 units with these small units in there, I got to tell you, I'm a little skeptical of needing a semi to drop off material there. So I really want us operating off one set of facts and not anecdotal, perhaps this or that. What's going to be real on this site and what are real impacts. So if you could explore that, if you can't, maybe you're not in touch with that client anymore or something, anything that might shed a little light on that would be helpful.
Understood.
I'm sure they have operational data on how many cars come in and how many trucks come in and the size of all of that.
All right. Anything else, board members?
Nope.
Does the applicant have any questions of clarification that they want from the board?
No, I just would like to add that we will be submitting a correspondence addressing some of the issues that Attorney Shapiro raised because we seem to be keep getting beat over the head with them. that especially the spot zoning issue, which you eloquently stated is really not a subject matter for this board. But just for the record, it is clearly not spot zoning. What was submitted by Attorney Shapiro in the case he cited is totally different fact pattern than what occurred here. Huge public benefits here, commercially zoned property, huge piece of land over 5 acres, well robustly debated and discussed at town meeting, all of the benefits for the town of Wakefield, not for the property owner. So, so we will be submitting a memo supporting that, just for the record, Mr. Chair, even though, because we're kind of forced to do that because it's been presented to you, and we will be doing that, just for the record.
No, I understand. I'd probably do the same thing. So, anybody else? With
Are-
that,
Would we be
Mr. Heck,
ready? Would we be ready for engineering next time? Or site?
Don't know. I'm not sure. Well, you know, we'll at least be ready on these architectural components, and if,
Yeah, but these architectural components are 5 minutes worth of discussion.
well, we could do that. I mean, I don't know if we'll be ready. We're gonna be back at conservation, before you, in September. And then, I'll have, Mr. Ogren's not here, so I'll see where he stands.
But it's a month from now. I'd say we continue to then and we get whatever updates we can. If they're ready for some site, great. If not, we get a quick architectural discussion and we continue from there. But it's a month away. I'd like to keep it going and at least.
I agree with Dave. If it's short, next on the 10th too.
Fine.
I was picking up the files today. We've got a bunch of new cases coming in on the 10th. We're gonna have a long.
I
meeting
know
on
we
the
do.
10th.
That was my thought, is that
Hmm.
just maybe it's good if it's short
Right.
or non-existent.
We'll
So,
see what
Mr.
they're ready
McGrail,
with.
just let us, as we get close, just let us know. So, let me know so I can try to plan out that night.
Well, maybe
have
we
some
just
order to it.
say right now that it's just architectural. And then we'll do site the next meeting. If you want to do that, Mr. Chair.
Let's keep it open. Let's push them a little bit and see what we can get. All right, looking for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we continue this matter at 50 Quantapowhat Parkway to our September 10th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none, regular voting members, Dave,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Chip,
Yes.
Kasumi.
Yes.
I vote yes as well. Thank you for your presentation. Thanks for those that testified tonight. We'll see you on the 10th. All right, moving into new hearings, case 26-5, Jeffrey Campbell, 28 Morrison Avenue. Is there someone here for that?
Good morning, good evening. My name is Chris Cornett, and I'm representing Mr. Campbell with regard to this matter. Chair Lucy.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. Floor is yours. Please proceed.
Thank you. There currently exists at 28 Morrison Avenue a shed that's approximately 12 by 14 feet. The shed was existing at the property when the Campbells acquired it in the 2004. Mr. Campbell estimates that the shed has been there for roughly 40 years. He uses the shed for storage of lawn equipment. It's unfortunately become rather deteriorated and dilapidated over time. And therefore, Mr. Campbell is looking for a finding that the new shed that he wants to put there is not substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming use to the neighborhood. The issue is that the setbacks, it's very close to the neighbors as indicated on the plan that we presented. And that's the relief that Mr. Campbell is seeking in this matter, is to take that old shed and replace it with a Reed's Ferry shed. So you know he's got a good one.
Agreed,
From what
but
I
let me
could
ask you.
tell on the plan, he was trying to put it closer, right?
I don't believe he's trying to put it any closer. There's currently, with the current shed, there's a wood structure, as it were, that holds firewood, and he would be taking that with it. That would be removed as well, and the shed just put there in the place of the current shed and the wood structure that holds firewood.
Can you share the site plan Sorry, I raised my hand for this. It would benefit the public who might,
Sure.
there might be
absolutely.
butters here and they haven't seen what we have in our packages, so it'd be helpful, I think, for everybody if you could share.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And
No, I had to double look. It does look like they want to make it smaller and make the setbacks less intense from what I can see.
I had it just the other way.
Yeah, I know.
I think
I
it's
had
the
to-
other way.
Yeah.
I had it just here. Let me open it up again. Here we go.
It's the first time anyone has ever come to us for a shed. Usually people just build them.
Oh, no.
There it
No,
is.
we get them. We get them.
Let me rotate this. There it is.
Joe, I had the same thought, but I do have some questions. I almost didn't want to ask because no one.
It's usually pool houses, those type of things.
No, we just did one a few months ago. Somebody wanted a really nice
Yeah, we
shed,
did.
remember?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Down on Prospect.
Can you zoom in a little bit, just so again, for the benefit? Yeah.
See, I get the dotted line as existing and then the heavy dotted line as new. To me, that exasperates going closer to the lot line. So I think this would take a variance as compared to a finding, in my opinion.
So, yeah, so I think we need
Yeah,
clarification because yeah.
Chip, that's where I was going to go. Did you think about, given that the shed, you're going to demolish it and put a new one in, could you move it away? Is there a different spot on the lot that wouldn't be up against this? And I guess my second question is, was there discussion with the neighbors who are the abutters for where this encroaches?
I believe Mr. Campbell has had some conversations. He's on the meeting as well. I'm not aware of any opposition to replacing the shed. I think that I have some pictures of the shed that I'd be happy to share as well to show what it
Oh,
currently looks
I'm
like.
sure the shed needs to be replaced.
I
But
I
you're
agree with
getting a
that.
significantly bigger shed and it's going significantly closer. And we have 7.5-foot setbacks for a reason. And this kills it.
I
So-
think if on this page here, part of the, I can show you, part of it involves the crushed stone that would be along the perimeter of the shed in terms of the footprint of it.
Okay.
That dotted line, the crushed stone, or is it the actual?
I don't know, a surveyor doesn't usually count crushed stone.
Yeah, they don't.
I don't
So-
believe that the crushed stone is that line. I think the line is the actual shed itself.
Yeah, so do I.
Could you answer my question about, you need to take down this shed and you want a new one? I don't think anyone here is trying to prevent you from having a new one. But you're right up to Chip's point. If you go closer, I think you applied for the wrong thing. I think you need a variance. And there's an opportunity to alleviate, at least to some extent, how close it sits to the property line. And you said you're not aware of any opposition, but we have no evidence that those discussions even happened. So can you answer the question? Was some consideration given to moving this either to a different part of the lot or at least further away from the property lines?
Or the same distance,
Or the same size. Get the same size shed.
or keep that back corner, the same spot.
I think part of the placing the shed where it is that there's a driveway right here that would allow for the lawn equipment to come right off the front of the shed, out of the front of the shed and onto the driveway itself. That was part of why it is where it's located. I mean, I could certainly discuss moving the shed 2 feet to the right. That would still be part of the driveway, or near the driveway, but then further away from the lot lines.
Well, what's your legal opinion on whether it needs a variance? Because I think it does if you do it this way.
I think that the shed itself is still the same dimensions, the 12 feet that currently exists. And the 14 feet that currently exists. So that's why we're seeking just a finding that we're not significantly altering anything in terms of the footprint itself. We're just replacing what is currently there.
So
But you're asking this board to take a vote that you're not exasperating the nonconformity when in fact you are exasperating the nonconformity.
I'm really
That's-
confused by the size conversation. Because
Yeah,
if
me too.
the existing shed is outlined in light gray, the new shed is outlined in the dotted line. Those two by no means are the same size. So you're not replacing like with like.
And just on
Unless the survey is wrong. I mean, I can
Right.
tell that with my own eye without taking a tape out.
Yeah,
And in order for it to not be exasperating, that back corner has to come to where the corner of the existing shed is.
yeah. Again, I'm not trying to prevent
No,
a
I think
shed from
you
being
get it as
built
a
here,
shed.
but we just gotta kind of move it over, so we can't just ignore the language that says you're not exasperating because in fact you are. And the evidence shows that. So I think with some relatively small adjustments here, you could, this homeowner could achieve their goal.
And
And
not even
still-
come to us.
And not even, right,
I mean, if he keeps the setbacks, it could literally be Ben's
I think-
decision that it doesn't exasperate it.
yeah, I think the building inspector would be able to sign off on it without spending time before us. But yeah, I can't in good mind, when the evidence suggests it, then take a vote that says it's not happening.
Okay.
Chip,
and I
Chip,
don't
you live
wanna-
across. You live across the street. Can't you just go out there and take a look for
No,
us?
Ave versus road. Ave versus road.
Oh, okay, that's right. Sorry. Down the street.
Yeah.
Again, to Chip's point, if you move this a little bit, this homeowner could probably get sign off from the building inspector
Okay.
and have his shed.
Or if
And it's
even if Ben says he's not comfortable doing it, have no opposition from is not exasperating anything.
Right, as you said, it's a Reed's Ferry shed. I'm sure it's wonderful. So again, no one's trying to stop you from doing it. Just
Position in the same position as the old shed.
Understood.
And Mr. Chair, if I can just add, again, it really depends because it's pre-existing. We don't have the measurements, but it does look like the existing one's non-conforming to begin with, right? Probably doesn't meet the 7.5 from the lot lines. We don't know for sure, but just looking at the relative lot lines, it's probably already non-conforming, right? So it's an argument of whether 190/50 applies here because it's already pre-existing non-conforming, or whether the accessory use, which is a shed in 190/22, that paragraph, it does say in 190/31M that we can alter that by special permit. So again, if they wanted to do what they want to do, there's a question of whether 190/50 applies or whether the accessory structure being closer to the lot line would need a special permit or whether they need a variance. And that's again, where there's a legal interpretation, it's not our call. It's just not clear that they're applying for the right thing and whether, as you said, they could do something different, and not have to come to us at all, potentially. But if they did, they'd want to apply for the right thing. And just, it's not 100% clear to this board that the finding is the right way, given what you're showing.
that's why I asked him for his legal opinion, Dave. I agree totally.
Yep. But again, I'm just saying there's different parts of the bylaw, right? The accessory shed is covered somewhere else. 190/50 could cover it. But if it was already conforming and they wanted to make it non-conforming, I totally agree that would most likely, again, I'm not a lawyer, but just from past experience, probably need a variance. But I think it's already pre-existing non-conforming. So whether it's a special permit finding or both, I think is the question. If they wanted to do what they want to show on the screen. But if they're willing to go back and look at it and do something different,
I can certainly talk to the homeowner about just moving it over a little bit to maintain the current setbacks, and then might not even need the board's involvement at that point.
Right, and you could still have an entrance to the shed right on the driveway.
Okay.
Or and if the building inspector did send it to us, then the finding probably would apply because you wouldn't be making the existing non-conforming any worse. Right? And then 190/50, I think, becomes the path forward. If the building inspector didn't approve it outright.
Understood.
All right, so why don't we continue it?
I would say we don't want to turn them down.
Right, no, because we're not trying to stop what's happening here. So
Correct.
let's just continue it and let them go back and maybe make a minor adjustment, then go talk to the building inspector based on that. And then hopefully for them, they don't even have to come back here.
Right, then they could just withdraw without prejudice.
Exactly.
Do we see if this public? Just to see if the neighbors have anything to,
Yeah, I was
Jump in.
gonna go
Well,
there,
for
Joe.
a finding, are they even notified?
Yes, they should have been.
I'm
Okay.
not sure they are, but they might be on anyway,
Right,
yeah,
because they might have seen it in the paper or something.
all right.
paper.
All right, I think we've beaten this dead horse, and if you could stop sharing, and that way I can see if folks do want to, if someone has showed up. If there's someone here that showed up to testify in this application, please use the raised hand function in Zoom. Going once, going twice. Back to the board. Public comment is closed. Looking for a motion for a continuance.
Mr. Chair, I move that we continue the matter at 28 Morrison Avenue to our September 10th, 2025 meeting.
Second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Hearing no further discussion, regular voting members, Dave,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Kip,
Yes.
Kasumi,
Yes.
and I vote yes too. So I hope there's some decent guidance for you there. And hopefully this all works out and you gentleman gets a shed. So,
Thank you very much. I appreciate the board's time.
yep, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, next up, we have case 26-6, 51 Whittier Road. Is there someone here to testify on that?
I'm back here, Mr. Chair, Attorney Brian McGrail, for the applicants. Boohoo Shretha and Basha Shretha, owners of the property at 51 Whittier Road, who I think are on here tonight also. I have, yeah, they are on here with me tonight. And also Eduardo Munez is a contractor. He's on here as well. This is a site plan approval request under the new ADU bylaw. And as was discussed earlier tonight, that ADU bylaw has not been approved by the Attorney General. The issue that folks are having now is under state law, assuming it does get approved, which we all think it will, it reverts back to the date of town meeting. The effective date is the date of town meeting. So, you know, it's not in our bylaw, but anyone trying to do, for an example, an ADU, if they did it without it, which they could go to the building department and get a building permit, but if they didn't go through this process and they built it, they would have a problem if it didn't meet our bylaw when it's approved by the Attorney General. So that's why we're requesting a site plan review under that. I've had discussions with town council, Tom Mullen. He thinks it's an appropriate way to do this because again, the bylaw will be retroactively effective. So an example would be if for some reason the Attorney General turned it down, my client would be able to do it anyways because the bylaw wouldn't impact them and it would be moot. But if the Attorney General approves it, it reverts back to the date of town meeting. So this site plan approval would be valid because it occurred after town meeting, obviously. So it's really a belt and suspenders why they're seeking this. And they're probably one of the few properties that will actually have to seek site plan review. I'm going to bring up if I may share my screen, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, please do.
So this is and you know, we're all, as I think I said before, we're all learning as we go on this. So this is interesting. So this is in essence, a mocked up, but virtually it's a final version of what was submitted to the Attorney General. And this component of it never changed. If you go to the bottom, parking requirements. So if you look at A, there's a 0 parking requirement for a protected assisted dwelling unit constructed on a lot within 0.5 mile radius of any transit station. A lot shall be considered to be within a half-mile radius if any portion of lot touches a half-mile radius from the location of the transit station. And this is as the crow flies, so it's not by like street or driving a car. So I'm going to get back to how that plays out in a second. But if you go to B, 1 space per unit shall be provided on site if all portions of the lot are located out of the half-mile radius from a transit station. So when you go up to the definitions in our bylaw, and you look at the definition of transit station. So this is transit station, a subway station, commuter rail station, ferry terminal, or bus station. So it's been interpreted that if you look at bus station definition, B, any location serving as a point of embarkation for any bus operated by a transit authority. So that's where, in essence, is a bus stop. So if you look at Wakefield, and I've got a map that's been done, there's very small areas that aren't within that half-mile radius, and the majority of it is in Montrose, kind of on the other side of Butler Ave. When you go down, on that side of Water Street, Butler Ave, and down to down towards Linfield, Walton Street, Whittier Road, some of those streets, Alyssa Drive, Eunice Circle. None of that is within the half-mile radius. And then a portion of the west side, up by where I live on Outlook Road, where Mr. Tabell lives, we're outside of that area as well. So we will require site plan approval, but all other parts of town, there's a very small part of Greenwood, Grandview Ave, Fellsmere, and that's about it. That don't meet that radius. So it puts these folks in the Shrevfords in a position that they need site plan approval because they need a parking space. So then if you go the way this plays out under the bylaw, if 1 space per unit provided on site if all portions of the lot are located outside of the half-mile radius. So what triggers the site plan review requirement is E up here. When you go to procedural requirements, E, PADUs that require an off-street parking space shall be subject to site plan approval administered by the Zoning Board of Appeals. No unreasonable regulations, terms, or conditions shall be placed on a PADU as part of the site plan approval. And that PADUs are as right as defined by Mass General laws. I mean, it's what we got. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But they have limited, very small couple of neighborhoods that have to do this. But again, in the event this is approved by the AG, which we think it is, we're checking the box just to be safe. So that's the background of why they're requesting it. Now, what the Shrevfords are doing with their property, they're creating an ADU, which will be entirely within their building. I'm going to show you the architectural drawings, and these aren't really relevant, I think, for your purpose, but I anticipated you would want to know what's happening, as you usually do. So they have and you'll see it from the elevation. This is a garage, a one-car garage, and this comes in from Whittier Road. And then this is the upstairs of the garage. It's a game room when you see the elevations. And that's the entire area where this ADU is going. They're not putting any addition on the house to create the ADU, and it's not going to be a detached ADU. So this is how it will lay out. Where the garage is going to be a kitchen and dining area, and then there's stairs going up. And then they're going to have 2 bedrooms upstairs and a bath. It's going to be, they're speccing it here at about 671 square feet, well below the 900. So it's a very, very small and tasteful. This is the elevations of the house that exists today. Again, there's no exterior changes. This is the back with the deck. This is, you can see it's probably the best to see it from the so this is the back with the deck that comes off of it, and the other side is the front side, and this will be the front. So as far as their site plan goes, for a single family house, you have to have two parking spaces. And for an ADU, as you saw, you need to have one parking space per unit. So we have had a site plan completed on this. And I think, one thing that the board talked about when I had another one of these was that you wanted to kind of see how the parking works. So what I submitted with the application, because it's what I had at the time, is just this, which is a plot plan. Doesn't show you much. So, but just kind of the layout. This is the garage where the ADU will be up above. But we did have another plan created, which I shared with the chair today. And I'd like to share with the board. So this just clearly shows how the parking will work. They're not changing the driveway layout significantly at all. They've got the 20-foot width here, and all they need is 3 spaces. And if you look at this line, I had the surveyor put this in. This dimension is 22 feet 3 inches. Typical parking space, remember, is 9 by 18, so this is well beyond 18. And then this width here is 31. So 3 cars, 9 feet would be 27. There's excess space here to easily pull in and get 3 cars and back out. In doing so, they meet the open area requirement of well over the required 40% at 67%, and they also have the open front yard that has to be above 60%. They're at 63.4. So this can easily be done. And, I think we've shown that we've met the standards. It's pretty straightforward. Happy to answer any questions the board have, but would respectfully request that the site plan approval be granted.
Yeah, Chip, I see your hand up.
Yeah, Brian, I agree with all your comments. The only thing that I think would be helpful as we all learn about this going forward is I would do a dotted line and state not that you're ever going to line it, but show that it's 3 cars and, 18 by 10 is the spaces, so that we're not just doing the mental math, but actually show how the cars could fit. That's all. Just as we move forward, this is fine. This is great. Not a detached one. So this is, like you said, I think very easy, but in the future, I would just show the 3 spaces.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is pretty pro forma, but because it's new, if board members have suggestions like that or questions, feel free to chime in here.
Yeah, no, agreed, Mr. Chair. Again, given the size, it's under the 900 feet. It's got its parking space. Not encroaching on any setbacks, so we're good there. Straightforward, makes sense. I'm
This
good.
would have been, I see this as being approved in the old days.
All right, if there's no further questions or comments from the board, I'm going to open it up to public comment. Are there, Brian, if you could stop sharing. Are there members of the public here that wish to testify in this application? If so, please use the raised hand function in Zoom. Small crowd, not seeing anybody. All right. And for the record, I do have some memos from the departments. Oh, wrong folder, hold on. Apologize. Keep all seeing things. Okay, we got memo from the DPW dated August 12th. The DPW requires the applicant submit a sewer inflow infiltration fee to compensate for the removal of a 4-to-1 ratio sewer line. The fee is $450 per additional bedroom and is estimated to be $900 for the additional bedrooms on the site. Please submit the I-9 fee to DPW engineering. Prior to, we got a letter from the Conservation Commission. The project does not fall within their purview. And we got a letter from Fire Chief Sullivan. The department has no objections to the project. So you hear the I-9 fee, Attorney McGrail?
Yes. Yeah, they deal with that at the time of permitting. Building permit. Usually you don't make that a condition on your residential, Mr. Chair.
No, they're not gonna get sign off till they do it anyway, so. Anybody else? Okay, looking for a motion.
You're on mute, Dave.
Just getting the plan dates here squared. Okay. So, Mr. Chair, I move that we grant site plan approval pursuant to 190-22A1F of the bylaw as amended to allow the proposed accessory dwelling unit at 51 Whittier Road. Based on the plans presented this evening, the site plan from Boston Survey, Inc. dated August 17th, 2023, and the architectural renderings from Aiju Group, May 19th, 2025.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none, regular voting members, Dave,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Chip,
Yes.
Kasumi.
Yes.
I vote yes as well. That's unanimous. So good luck to
Thank
the
you.
applicants. All right, moving on, other matters. Case 1530, 376, 378 Main Street Realty Trust minor sign modification request. Is that yours, Brian?
That's mine also. I'm here regarding 376, 378 Main Street with Mr. Santinelli, who's on the Zoom as well. Bob is on. This is on his property where the Dollar Tree store is and where his little self-storage facility is behind and underneath. As you recall, your board permitted this whole project with the significant improvements with the facade of the building and signage. We had to go through the signage special permit process, and as part of all of the special permits process, you retain jurisdiction on signage. So to that end, Bob has a small change that he is requesting your approval on. May I share my screen, Mr. Chair, to
Please
highlight
do.
that? What's happening is where he has the Pride self-storage underneath the building, which is a nice facility. People that, where it has an address, people have a hard time kind of finding it. So as they're driving down Main Street, they're going back and forth, just causing traffic looking for it. So Bob is requesting to just put a small 15 square foot sign, and actually there is a sign band here on the building just to give folks direction of where to find it. This gives you an idea of, where this matches, this shows you the existing sign band here. And it matches this pretty, verbatim matches the two signs on the front of the building. Bob is not looking to light this. He did say to me today, if the board wanted it lit, he would light it with goosenecks, but that will be up to you. And that is a request. And ironically, Bob sent me a picture today. And I hope I'm able to. Let's see. Yeah, I got it. So this is This is just interesting on two fronts. It's a picture in the Wakefield item. It goes back to a long time ago. Well, it's not, it's actually, it was just in the item the other day, but this goes back to 1940. And look at Mr. Beard, right, guys? Former zoning board member, which I thought was great. But what Bob wanted to point out is, this is there a long time ago, there was a sign exactly where he wants to put it.
So Bob wants us to turn the dates back to 1940, does he, downtown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. Right? All the look, that's the look everybody wants, goosenecks and. So that's a request, Mr. Chair. Happy to answer any questions the board has. And Bob, do you have, if I could just ask, Mr. Chair, Bob, do you have anything to add to that, or did I cover it pretty well? Then you have to unmute. Bob's about as technically advanced as I am, so I don't think he can figure out how to mute, so.
Well, he's standing between us and adjournment, so if he doesn't want to comment, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chairman, my only comment to you, Brian, like I went back in my records, I think when they added the bracket sign a few years ago, right? And that required a special permit, right? Because of the bracket sign, I think. But this is just adding another sign, so we're okay with just a minor modification here?
I think you are.
No
Yeah.
other relief, just a minor mod to that existing. The bracket would seem to be handled differently.
I have a real trouble with the need for it. I mean, I don't know how many people that are going to the self-storage really can't find it. I have trouble believing that. And how many people are, once you find it once, that's your storage unit. I don't see the need myself.
You hear me, Brian?
Oh, yeah, hold on, Bob. You're not recognized yet, so just stay on hold.
Okay.
Now, if he wants to enlighten us as to Chip's question, we'll be happy to hear it.
Bob, did you hear the question Tabell had? He questioned the need for the sign.
Every business on Main Street has
Bob, we can't hear you.
Customers.
Bob, you're all mumbled. Bob, you're all mumbled. Can't hear you.
Yeah, we got Charlie Brown's teacher there, so
Can you hear me now?
You just, it sounds like you got a static radio when you're talking. No.
what he might try to do, Brian, is he's on twice. It might be screwing it up.
Yeah, Bob, you're on two different ways. You might want to get off one way. You've logged on two different ways, and I think that's what's messing you up.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see if I can try it.
You can't log on, Mr. Chair,
No, that's fine. Yeah, I hear Chip.
You there, Bob?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
I don't know what's going on with your phone, but it sounds like you're on a staticky radio.
Oh, you can't hear me. Okay, wait a minute.
We can now. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you can now. Okay. So I can't see you right now, but yeah. So what I was saying is basically every business on Main Street has a sign. A sign has customers.
Bob, scratch
or
it.
anything like. Yeah.
You're gonna scratch it. We can't hear. So, Mr. Chair, I mean, if you feel a need to hear from Mr. Santinelli, maybe we just have to continue this for a couple of weeks. I don't know. Okay. Bob, I don't know.
I think his point was going to be that every business on Main Street has a sign, and he'd like one. So
But is he on Main Street or is he on a side street?
Well, his building is on Main Street, but the access is in the rear.
Yeah,
So
it's a lower
he's
level.
saying
It fronts on Main Street, Center Street, and Union Street.
Yeah.
It fronts on 3 streets. but it's below level.
The board retained jurisdiction, but I think if you look at our bylaw, that, there's really, under our bylaw, it's only 15 square feet, and there is a right to have a sign facing the street. Which this does, and it's within a sign band.
However, he
If you hear it, but just
already
to
has
address,
traffic.
Bob, you gotta mute. We get you're messing up the whole meeting with your static.
He's already been given the bracket sign. He's got a sign over his door. I don't think we need 3 signs within 50 feet for a self-storage unit that, I mean, tell me if there are people getting lost every day going to this unit. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. We gave him the signage he thought he wanted with the bracket sign to get him to this location. So I don't think we need 3 signs to a self-storage in a building basement.
Is his business address on Main Street or on the Center Street?
I don't know for the storage.
Yeah.
Because if his business address is on the Center Street, people is gonna look it up on Center Street, and I don't think you need a sign on the.
Yeah, the business address is 2 Center Street, assuming. I mean, that's the way it's posted online. I'm looking online.
Yeah, so like a lot of people, they just gonna Google map and where that is. I don't know if you're gonna see the Blade sign on the Center Street.
Okay, I hear 2 people that aren't comfortable with this. Dave, Joe?
I'm upset he's using my name. That's first of all, but I mean, I hit Chip's point. Having 2 signs right next to each other, I guess, seems a little redundant. But technically, where he's going to put that second sign is on Center Street because it's on the side of the building, and that side of the building is Center Street. Would you be willing to get that sign up and take the other one down? I don't know. That's an option.
I think what I'd like to do is certainly table this till our next meeting, because Mr. Santinelli's a good business owner in town. If he has legitimate concerns or reasons, I'd love to hear them. It just doesn't make sense to me without hearing it from him.
Yeah, why don't we do that? He's having a technical problem tonight, happens to everybody. So why don't we table this?
Any chance you can hear me, Brian? Any chance you hear me now?
It's just not working.
Not working, Bob.
He's on 3 times now.
Yeah.
So we'll table this till September. Is it September 10th? I think so.
Yep.
And then that, even if you can't be here, if you want to submit something in writing or Brian gives something to you to pass along to the board, we're happy to hear it. I agree. We want to be supportive of the businesses in town. So we'll give him every chance to make his case. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that'd be fine. Just this is just an end of the agenda item anyways. So
Right.
I don't even think you need a vote for that, Mr. Chair.
No.
Nope.
All right. We'll move on from that then and do clerk and board comments.
Are we going to talk about site visits?
Oh, yeah, I asked Brian to bring a update. So if you recall, I think I emailed the board. Attorney Mullen said it's fine as long as we stick to a strict guidelines of not discussing anything, not saying things like we should do this type of project in other places, just kind of take it in and talk about the Red Sox. And I think this board can do that. So I relayed to Mr. McGrail that ideally it'd be in one day. Friday afternoon seemed to be the day, so I don't know if you have an update on that, Brian.
Last chance, can
Yeah.
anybody hear me by chance? Brian is smiling. I see you, but can anybody hear me? No?
Yeah, we've kind of moved on.
All right.
We continued you.
So I don't know, Brian, if you had any update on a Friday that would work for both parties to have.
Yeah,
our-
they booked it for no, they're basically having a ribbon cutting at, the Renly on September 12th. I think, is that a Friday?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what the board had wanted. So I don't have an exact time yet, but I know it's gonna be sometime, I think later in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And
Okay, then we can do the Quantapowwood first then, if that's a little later.
I can set that up with the folks
Yeah.
at Quantapowwood. Yeah,
All right,
so maybe I would probably do Quantapowwood first.
okay,
So
sounds good.
put up,
So folks want to
Depending
mark
on
that
timing.
down. I'm sorry?
I said just depending on timing. You know,
Yeah,
if they're doing a 3 o'clock ribbon cutting, then I'd prefer to do Quantapowwood after it.
agreed.
Okay,
We'll
I'll
work
find-
all that out, but if folks could just put September 9th down as a date to
Or the
target,
12th.
12th.
Or the 12th.
or the 12th. Whatever actually the
Or
Friday.
whatever Friday you want.
I'm going the 9th. I don't care what you guys.
We got 495 now that we got things being a butters to. We got Friday's dates changing. I think the
We
heat's
got
getting to us all.
we got businesses stealing Joe's name. I mean, it's been a rough night. All right. I appreciate that, Brian. It's kind of good because we approve these projects and then we never see them. So this will be, especially Quantapowwood, I'm very interested in.
I can tell you, when you see the Renly, you're gonna wanna move into it. That's how
Yeah.
nice it is.
I see transactions in the paper. They're selling.
It's
Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah, and that whole street is just really transforming when you see it. When you stand in front of that building and look down towards Avenue Street, it's amazing. So,
yeah. I know a couple of folks that got a couple of young Wakefield born and bred people that got a couple of those affordable units too. So it's good to see the affordable units going to Wakefield residents. So
and I can tell you, with the affordable units, it's great to see how excited they are at the closings. So it is good.
and prepare your clients at CCNF that someone's going to ask the question about the restaurant on the 12th.
That's fine.
All right. Other clerk board comments?
Nothing from me. All quiet.
All right, I think we're ready to approve the minutes from July 16th.
Yeah, so one observation, just it's a minor thing. Normally, Amy, they're spot on. No, on the 50 Quantapowwood, the minute said 3-story building, and it's a 5-story building. So I would make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we approve the minutes from our July 16th, 2025 hearing with the amendment, if Amy can just correct that, just so it's in the minutes accordingly, that it's a 5-story building as proposed currently.
Thank you, no problem.
Yep.
Right,
But
get a
otherwise,
second on that?
they look good, Amy.
I hear a second from Joe.
Second.
We can do a voice vote here. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. All right, those are done. Thank you.
Motion adjourned, Mr. Chair.
Always in order.
Still trying. You
Enjoy the
guys hear
rest of
me?
the summer, folks. Labor Day weekend.
See
Bob,
you
we're
in
done.
September.
See you in September, Bob.
Oh, okay. Now you can hear me?
Crystal.
Perfect.
Oh, my God. And we're all done. Jesus. All right.
Have a good night,
Talk to
folks.
Brian. Brian has the
Yeah,
update.
Good night.
Take care.
Have a
Good
good
night, folks.